What is going on, everybody? I was about to say Tuesday. It's Thursday. Happy Thursday. Hope you're doing well. Looks like we got a bunch of you in here already. I'm excited for this week's live. I was talking with Rod and Kenny, who will be here in a moment. We were just talking about like what would be valuable and what we should share. And Rod actually brought it up. And the more I think about it, it was like a topic that I haven't really talked about a lot that I think is actually really, really important at any stage of building a business. And a lot of people, let me step back for a second. The thing that I noticed is that all of the people I know that are successful, whether it's just in business in general, people I've got to meet as I grow my business, been to different events, that kind of stuff, and people that are real estate photographers that we've coached and we know how they've grown. The one thing more than anything else I think that they had in common, or that they have in common, is they're very resourceful people. And I know that word by itself is kind of boring. I was like figuring out the messages with Kenny we were going to send out to the various places announcing this live. And I was like, resourcefulness is such a boring topic. Like, hey, come for a training on resourcefulness. It's going to be fun. So I try to make the clickbait, so to say, as interesting as possible. But it's a topic that is not boring in my mind because of the way that just every successful person I know has it. So I wanted to talk about what being resourceful means to me and like some things that I see that can help you be more successful in your business. So this will be for people who are thinking about starting, because you have to be resourceful at every stage in a business. And then people who are you already have a photo business. So I'll kind of start from the beginning with people who are just starting. We'll talk about what being resourceful looks like and some examples of that. And then we'll go into people that are scaling their business. And here's the mistake that I think you could make listening to that. This is not a topic that matters more for beginners or for people that are already doing this or scaling their business. Like being resourceful is something you need to work on across the board. And I won't just say resourceful 1,000 times in this, but I'm going to say it one last time. And something that's really important is people think to get resources, to have a lot of whatever they want, whether it's money or time, both are resources. They just need to go get those. But really it starts with actually being the kind of person that's resourceful, because that's how those things are created. They come from a thing that you don't have to have extra time or extra money to have. And so I think everybody here knows I love acronyms. And so I was with Rod and Kenny earlier, actually, we were planning the live, and I was like, we need a better acronym, because the words we had like were very hard to remember. And so we figured one out that works perfectly, and the acronym is CAPE. And so thinking about this, this is a good thing to do with any decision you're making in your business, but it's also just something that will help us explain this topic in a way that I hope brings you value. I will just say I was not very resourceful the first few years of my business, and that's why I grew slowly. That's why I made a lot of stupid decisions. So I think the reason being resourceful gets you more resources, whatever that resource is, time or money, is because if you're not, you don't create those things. So anyway, the acronym is CAPE. It stands for clarity, affirmation, proof, and end goal. So I'm just going to break those down, because someone that's resourceful generally has a thought process or acts in this way. And if you're not doing these things or you don't act in this way, you're going to be fairly inefficient, which in my opinion is the exact opposite of resourceful. So C in CAPE is for clarity. Get really clear on what you're doing or what you're actually trying to do. So if you're saying it's not a good idea if you're just starting to say, hey, I'm starting a real estate media business. That's my goal. It's like, what does that mean? What is starting a real estate media business? Like you've started. There's nothing that defines that. So that's if you're just starting. If you're more advanced, what does clarity look like? Well, I'm scaling my real estate media business. What does that mean? Like what are we getting clarity on? So like get clarity on what specifically that means. That's a C in CAPE. The next is affirmation. Now, I'm not somebody who sits there and I'm not like, I will be successful. I will be successful. That's not what I mean when I say affirmation. If that works for you, do it. But what I have seen is the opposite side of this, where a lot of people will negative affirm themselves. They'll be like, oh, I'm broke, or, oh, I'm an introvert, or Brad, you interrupted me on that comment. Oh, I'm something. And they label themselves something that doesn't serve them. So what I'm not saying here is that you need to go like in the mirror, yell at yourself. That's fine. If that works for you, I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to make a joke if that's what works for you. If it does, go for it. But I think the biggest thing you can do if you want to be a more resourceful person is realize that those negative affirmations really hold you back. And if you have any, just comment them in the chat. Like if there's anything you find yourself hearing from yourself, what are those things? Like identify them. I used to tell myself, my biggest one, oh, I'm an introvert. That was a big negative affirmation. Oh, I am bad at sales. That was a huge negative one that made me never want to learn what good sales was. And good sales is not what I thought sales was. And so the next thing is think about what your affirmations are to yourself and make sure they serve you. So get clarity and think about the things that hold you back. I'm broke. I can't do this. If I want to start a real estate media business and get to 10K, saying I'm broke is not going to help you. The next one, proof. And this is just meaning find out specifically what you have going for you or what you have. So when someone says, for example, I'm broke or I don't have any money, that's my favorite one. It's like, that is actually not true. You just don't have the amount of money that you want. You probably have $15. You probably have $500. You probably have $100, whatever it is. And so the proof stage, once you have clarity on your goal and you're thinking, hey, what am I telling myself that's stopping me from doing this? The next step is proof. Like, what do I actually have going for me? Well, if your the thing you're trying to create more resource around is time, because you have an existing real estate media business. Big one I hear is I have no time. So to get proof on that, it would be how much time do I have? And so going through that same one, get clarity. Hey, I'm trying to scale my real estate media business, but I don't feel like I have time. The affirmation you're telling yourself is I'm too busy. So the antidote to that, the proof, is to go, how much time do I have? And the last one that kind of wraps up the whole thing is to have an end goal. The E in CAPE. You need to have an end goal. So I mentioned this at the start, saying I'm starting a real estate media business, or worst of all, I might start a real estate media business. That's just, you're too scared to commit. You want to start one, but you're saying I might. So a better one would be, I'm starting a real estate media business and I want to get to 10K a month within 10 months. That's a goal, right? That's clear. You're not telling yourself any stupid things around it. You're clear on the goal. Your proof is, okay, what's it going to take for me to get there? Well, I need to make $10,000 a month. How many shoots is that? You're going to do the math. Something I always try to talk about on any content I make, because I didn't do the math when I was starting my business. And it's like I did everything wrong. And so it's just like, how do you be successful? Well, do everything the opposite of Eli did in the first 5 years and you will be much more successful than I was. And so for me, I didn't have clarity. And so that's what I notice in resourceful people. And that's the way to think about it. They're clear on what they want. They don't lie to themselves and tell themselves they can't do something because I'm broke, I don't have enough time, I'm this, I'm that, I'm scared, I'm bad at speaking in the comments, all this stuff. And this is an interesting thing right here. I'm going to bring this up because it's relevant to this. Thanks for the compliment, first of all. I was not that when I first started. I considered myself an introvert. I was bad at sales. And then I realized you can just learn all this stuff. I didn't start out being good at communicating. I let myself be willing to do it by not saying I'm bad at it. I was bad at it. But me going, I'm bad at communicating is going to help me. So that's a perfect thing tied into that. But yeah, introversion is a big one for a lot of people. Just like you're afraid to put yourself out there. And I think it's interesting. If you think about being, considering yourself introverted, it's usually just you're scared to talk to people. And the reason you can be scared to talk to people, there's like 1,000 of those. You don't know what you're doing yet, right? You're not confident. You're worried about it's like not one thing. I think anytime people are scared, they just blame introversion, and that doesn't serve them. So that's the acronym. Think about that: clarity, affirmations, proof, and end goal. And then I just wanted to, after my just nonstop monologue here, where I was going probably 1.5x speed. So sorry about that, everybody. I want to talk about specific examples. First of all, Rod, Kenny, you guys have anything you want to chime in, or should we go into examples?
Well, my head's always spinning with things to rant on, so don't ask me that. Don't got time. No, I mean, the biggest thing with affirmations that you said is that people feel weird saying positive affirmations in the mirror sometimes, right? But they're so okay saying negative ones.
Yeah.
They do affirmations every day. It's just whether they're positive or negative. It's just, no, you feel weird doing a positive one because your brain's not used to it. You got to keep doing it so your brain gets used to it, so it naturally feels like it is normal, so you stop feeling weird to do it. Yeah. Once you get to that point, it shifts your brain, and beliefs, the actions, things you say, turn into the things that are. So I would say affirmations scientifically actually are proven to be the biggest thing. They call it cognitive dissonance, where you actually are tricking your brain and taking your brain to a certain belief that everything is relative in perspective. So yeah, we can get pretty deep on the affirmation side too as well.
Okay, so that's interesting. Yeah, so if the baseline is here, a negative affirmation is going to make you, like saying I'm broke when you need to get $2,000 together to get started. That's taking you farther from success. No affirmation is going to be here. And then positive is like, I'm definitely going to achieve this kind of thing. It's not.
Well, you also act the way that you start speaking and seeing yourself. You keep saying like, I'm broke. You're going to act like a broke person and not take action.
Yeah.
And I think it's easier to have negative affirmations because then you just stay in your own comfortable place. Saying I'm broke means that you're going to act like a broke person, meaning that you're not going to take action. You're going to stay in the same place where you are. And you're just like, okay, I'm comfortable. Like, yeah, it sucks, but I've lived like this my whole life. So If I'm saying I'm successful, I'm rich, you know that you're going to have to put in the work, and that's harder to do. And so it's like Rod was saying, it's easier to just be like, I'm broke, and that's it at the end of it. Like, it is what it is, and just not take action with anything.
Yeah, I would say like there's a thought I've always had when I'm on calls and people are like, I'm broke, I'm this, I don't have this, I don't have that. And my thought is like, imagine, and this might sound sappy, sure, but imagine someone you love deeply, and imagine looking at that person in the face and saying, you're broke, you have no time, you can't do this. That would feel weird, right? But we have such a comfort saying it to ourselves sometimes. So what does that mean? Like self-love, sure, that can get into a whole nother batch of conversations, but it's yeah, I would say that side is happening a lot more than people think. And I'll be on with all the calls I'm on every day. People are, it's negative affirmations, and they're not saying it like they're being negative. It's just I'm hearing them say things that I'm like, I wonder if they keep saying that every day, they're just going to stay in that. And yeah, it's a lot more going on, I would say, in the mind that would propel or stop someone than they might realize.
There's a coaching framework that I like from a lady named Brooke Castillo, where it's a really interesting framework to like kind of analyze this further, but it's basically, so your circumstances are the facts, the things that have happened. We all have circumstances, right? The circumstance is that for all of us listening to this, we woke up this morning. That's the circumstance. And then the feelings that that circumstance creates. So you could, you know, the circumstance could be you're low on money, right? But it's just, it's a number. You have $100. That's a lot for some people. That's none for other people, right? So you have $100. Then the feeling around that, the feeling creates the action. The action creates the result, right? Or there's one more step in there, but you get the point. And so I think that's really interesting. That's like the thing that always, whenever I heard people talking about stuff like affirmations or anything, I was like, what the heck? Like, that's so weird. It's like, whatever. And I still don't, it's not magic. I'm not saying you sit there and hope it's magic. It's just when you don't tell yourself bad things, you take actions that align with the things that you want. And so whenever I used to hear this, and anybody here maybe can associate with this, you kind of just like go, oh, I'm not going to listen about that. Like, that's weird. And you just assume it's some, like, we think it's some magical, like it's not. It's just, if you don't tell yourself that you have no time, you will all of a sudden have more time and you'll be able to work on the things that matter. So when people are just starting, some things I wrote down that came to mind about like what a resourceful person would do. Number one is they would leverage the existing stuff that they do have. So, you know, someone that's being resourceful wouldn't say, oh, I need $3,000 in camera gear. They would say, oh, I have this 10-year-old camera. What's the cheapest lens I can get to get the job done? They work on being resourceful in terms of maybe they don't have a lot of money, but you need a network to create money. If you know every realtor in town and you have a camera and can shoot real estate, you're not lacking for money. You know what I mean? And so it's like they would work on building that connection. You can do that for free on Instagram. We talk about the Instagram method so much. They problem solve creatively.
You're excited and like slammed your hand on the table.
Yeah, I know.
Somebody said you were hatless. So I'm like, I'm not sure what could happen in any second with you being hatless, so I'm scared. So
yeah,
it's I hear noise, I get a little nervous now. So.
I was wondering why I look different today. Anyway, they would outsource smartly, right? You know, one resource. Whenever we say resources, people think money, and money, sure, it's a resource, but time is a more valuable resource if you use it well. So they outsource smartly. They would learn from failures and setbacks in a meaningful way. There's a quote I love. I think it's Tony Robbins, but you know how all quotes are. They all work their way back to being attributed to Winston Churchill. So maybe it was Winston Churchill. You never know. But it's basically, dang, now I forgot the exact quote. Hold on, it's coming back to me. It might not. I'll have to go around it. Oh yes, okay. So it's when you win, you party, and when you fail, you ponder, and all greatness comes from pondering. I think that's a really interesting one. And it's true in my business. Every time we have a slow month, we fix a bunch of stuff, and then we have a great month. And so people who are resourceful learn. They know that, hey, what did this do? Hey, what happens when we get slow? We don't bury our head in the sand and cry. We go, what happened? Let's fix it. Right? That's resourcefulness when you're just starting. They optimize what they do. They think about what they're doing. They don't just shoot in the dark. Being resourceful is like turning on the lights. It's much easier to hit the target, right? So that's when you're smaller. That's some ways you can be resourceful. And then what about, like, I know we talked a lot about your first dollar kind of resourcefulness, but what about if you have a business, you're doing $30K a month as a real estate photographer? Like, some things that come to mind very tactile would be your team members, the people you have shooting for you, are cross-trained. They can shoot photos, videos, 3D tours, everything. You don't have some people that do this, some people do this. I used to do that. It was stupid, right? They hire virtual assistants and they leverage virtual assistants. They're resourceful. Instead of they hire someone that can do the same work virtually for much cheaper. So they save those resources. They can be more effective with their business. They automate processes, and they build systems in their business, right? That's just a resourceful thing to do. Sure, you could hire a bunch of humans to do it, but it's much better if you have systems doing it. It's using the resources better. They build a culture of autonomy. I wrote down. You build a team that doesn't need to come ask you everything. That's being resourceful. It's using those. You have team members. Use those resources wisely. It makes you more money and frees up more time. They set clear goals. They delegate effectively. And so it's no wonder when you say like, what does a successful person do? You can boil any of it down to they're resourceful. And so the challenge in here, and then we'll open up some Q&A. We'll do a little talking, the usual. The challenge in here is to not assume you're resourceful. It's to say, what am I not very resourceful with for everybody here? What am I not as resourceful with? Do I waste time? Do I fix things by just throwing time at them? Do I not use money wisely? Do I limit myself by saying, oh, I'm going to start when I can buy that camera, but you have enough to make it happen? Do you a big one? Obviously, we're on here because they say a lot of entrepreneurs solve their own problems. When I first started, there was no industry leaders that I could learn from in a reasonable way. So we created REPP so we could teach what we've learned. So being resourceful is knowing, hey, I should look to industry leaders. When I'm building my business, I don't learn by trial and error. I try not to, right? I go learn from others. And so think about like, what is the most resourceful thing you can do? Hormozy quote, I think it's actually Naval Ravikant that, again, probably gets attributed back to Winston Churchill, but we all have limited resources, time and money. They're all limited for us, right? Even the richest person's still kind of limited, but we're not the richest people here. So we have time, and we have limited time and limited resources, and we have a literally unlimited amount of things we could do with those time and resources. So being resourceful is going with those limited time and resources. Where should I put them? Where should I use them? And it's not a yes or no, it's a spectrum. It's how resourceful are you? And so, I would just highly encourage you to think about that. And it's a good question to constantly be asking yourself, like, am I doing things, am I using my time, my money, the gifts and talents you have, are you using them appropriately and in the most resourceful way? Because, I've seen people that had very little money. A guy just commented in our Facebook group, I won't say his name because it's public in here, but he had $400 when he started, which maybe that's a lot if you're listening and you have less than that. And now he is doing $7,000 a month. And he was like, I'm definitely not broke now. And so how was he able to do it? Resourcefulness. Ultimately, everybody who has success is like, the more resourceful you are, the more success you have. Let's do this really quick before we pivot to Q&A. We're going to apply resourcefulness to your business. So I want you to comment the most difficult thing that exists for you in your real estate media business. So if you haven't started yet, maybe the difficulty is what you're getting, what you need to get started. Maybe it's the gear, maybe it's you want to do coaching. What is it that you need? If you already have a real estate media business, what's the tough thing for you? Like, is it getting clients? Is it hiring and scaling your business? Is it staying motivated? Is it building systems? Is it finding editor? Like, what's the hard part for you? Let me know in the chat and we're going to apply some of those. We'll let them come in for a second. Any thoughts, Kenny or Rod, you guys want to add in while we're waiting?
The thing that I've seen about resourceful people is one of the skills that they have, or I don't know if it's a skill, but like something that they're willing to do is just sacrifice whatever it is they're doing right now as a comfort, as whatever, whether they don't have money or time. And so, we were talking in the coaches group call today that I had. An example was like, there's this person that every night at 7 p.m. they have to watch a movie with his wife, his or her wife, or husband, wife, whatever, spouse, partner. The sacrifice would be like, I'm not going to do that now. But for some people, it's just like a huge struggle because it's like, no, that's my me time. That's my relaxed time. Just like work on your business, like you do have time. You're just saying that you don't have time because you're putting stuff inefficiently in your calendar. And so the ones that I've seen succeed the most, use time efficiently. And so it's a resourceful person right there. Like, use your time efficiently.
We were talking on the leadership meeting just before this, the REPP leadership meeting. And Aaron was like, when you have one of those days where you have like 3 hours of focused work you need to get done, and you're too busy, so you save a 3-hour block and then you can't get it done in that 3-hour block. And it just reminded me of what you said, Kenny. It's like Tuesdays and Thursdays are personally my meeting days. I put all my meetings in there so I can work the other ones. the right Tuesday and Thursday, which is most Tuesdays and Thursdays, I get more non-meeting work done in those little gaps I have around meetings than days that are wide open. Very interesting. It's just like you learn about how you can force yourself to be resourceful. Everybody's a procrastinator. People say they're not. Everybody is, I think. What procrastinators know is that the secret, the thing that makes it into a weapon, is you just assign yourself quick due dates. And then you're just like, the hour before something's due as a procrastinator, you're like a legend at getting it done. It's like crazy how efficient you are. So you just build out your calendar that way. It's really interesting. So anyway, we got some in here. Let's see.
Well, I just looked up. I've been saying the word resourcefulness for like 8 years straight, but actually I've never looked up it on Google. I was kind of curious, like what does Google say? Maybe resourceful finally. But it says the ability to find quick and clever ways to overcome difficulties. So it's the ability. So it's a skill set.
Yeah, skill sets can be developed.
Skill that you can get good at when it seemingly feels impossible. Because I know a lot of people listening will be like, "Yeah, but my situation," is usually what the words will be. And it's okay. And situations can be monumental. They can be their perspective. It's so different for everybody. But it's the ability, which means it means you can get better at something that could solve something, which is a good thing. That means there's the ability to solve it. It's just we need to learn it and find out the things that can make that happen. So yeah, it makes sense. It's the ability to find quick and clever ways to overcome difficulties. So that's CAPE. Love that CAPE method. You should put a cape on the Moon Man in the back. Gold helmet back there.
We all have one now. Look, it's the launch Moon Man.
There's a little karate kicking one on Amazon. Come on, y'all. Look at it.
That was a good
an ability. I thought it's cool that it's an ability. So I'm like, huh. Okay.
I like that you brought up the specific thing about it's easy to exclude yourself and just be like, but my situation. And then the antidote to that is if someone with a worse situation has done it, it's invalid, what you're telling yourself. And there's always going to be someone with a worse situation that's done it. So, okay, let's see. Let's find some pain points in here that we can talk about.
Someone did comment about your mic. Is your mic on? Or is
my
it?
mic?
Is it?
Let's see. Did I just do an entire monologue?
We can hear you, but it's.
I gotta confess. Is it better now?
I mean, yeah.
Look, I think
it sounded like we were chilling in the garage with you or something.
My whole training with the mic off.
Someone find PPG.
Very resourceful. It's straight in front of my face, and I didn't even turn it on.
It looks good, am I even using mine? I don't think I am.
I was in a group call, and one of our clients, Danielle, was like, "Eli, your mic sounds terrible," and it was again like halfway through the meeting with it off. Anyway, okay. If you're here, Danielle, thanks for that the other day. Okay, let's get into it. Well, first of all, this is definitely true. You don't have to be a prodigy to get info. You just have to be hungry. Definitely true. Okay. There was a really good one I saw that was basically like the clients only use me once. Let me find it. It was up here. And I just want to talk about what a resourceful person would do if in that case, or what you could do to be more resourceful. Let me just pin the question if I can find it. Of course, when I need it, I can't find it in here. Not very resourceful again. We're just going to talk. Oh, here it is. Robert said realtors only use me once. So in the topic of resourcefulness, what I would first do, if we're talking about your definition, Rod, which is quick and clever, I was going to go the non-clever route. And I was going to be like, well, you should look at your systems. You should look at this. You should look at this. And then I was like, what would the resourceful person do? They would call the client. It's quick and it's clever. And be like, why'd you only use me once? Respectfully, don't say it like that. And so, Robert, in a real answer, my answer would always be contact the clients and see. You should look at your business objectively as if you're a client, but it's much easier just to pick up the phone. I know you talk a lot about that, Kenny, too, is like the most common thing, just communicate. Anybody have any thoughts on that? Anything else?
Just a huge fan of communication, honestly, like you put it. I mean, like, I think last year during the conference, somebody was asking, us like, oh, but I'm not sure, but like, what if this client likes this certain product or whatever? I was like, do you ask them? It's like, no. It's like, do it.
You should. Like, I did to you, Kenny, what I hated when people do to me. They're like, Eli said this really great point, and then they repeat your whole point, and they're like, what do you think, Eli? And you're like, well, you already just gave them my whole point. What am I supposed to say?
I have nothing more to add.
I have nothing more to add. That's the only answer. Were you going to say something, Ron?
No, I like that. Like, what's the quick, clever way is sometimes the way that right in front of us to just ask them. And I think the answer you might find out is like, well, I haven't had a listing still. and they might be a little slower.
Yeah.
And it's just keep feeding your pipeline then, and those will stack up. So it could be what you discover could give you more sleep at night, knowing, oh, it's not you, it's just they haven't got a listing. Okay, I'm good. So I think the communication is the quick, easy way to get right to it.
Fixes that affirmation too, because you go from what's wrong with my business, to there's nothing wrong with my business, the clients don't have a listing, and then you're feeling good, you're sleeping, like Rod said, which is really important. Stress reduction in business is important. You don't have to be stressed. A lot of business owners are like, oh, it's so stressful running a business, but that's just part of it. And it's like, yes, sort of. Like, there's stressful times in anything, but if your business is just making you into a stress ball, that's not right. And a resourceful person would realize that stress is the quickest way to lack resources and lack resourcefulness. This is a good one. I thought it was just getting clients that was limiting belief. Which one did you like, Rod?
I don't know. I like them all. I don't know how y'all do it. I'm like distracted. I like read everything, and
I have to be resourceful, Rod. And I go, what are the best questions?
You got me there. Okay, let me see.
So this is a good one. Getting consistency. Some weeks I'm shooting multiple a day. Some I'm doing nothing. So nothing. If you're shooting, it's awesome, right? And I think you know this. I'm just going to repeat it because this is the context. But doing nothing is not ultimately very resourceful. And so I would consider you to say, hey, during that time when I don't have shoots, what could I do that would make me have less of this time? Right? So it's like client acquisition, building systems in your business. Like that time where you have nothing is actually, if you think about it, it's your most valuable time, because it's where you can use time to bring higher leverage in. So, when you're shooting, you're making $60 an hour, $80 an hour. That's what it's worth. 40 you can outsource it for. So it's like, if you're shooting and making that much during the time when you're not shooting, what could you do to make 200 an hour during those hours? And that would be client acquisition. There's just a delay. You just don't get paid the 200 the hour you do it. That's what Rod was talking about earlier. You got to fill that pipeline.
Yeah, I would say like that sentence. My thought is, anytime where I'm talking to somebody and that's what they'll say is I'm getting, I'll ask about the revenue and stuff, and they'll say I'm getting weeks, and then I'm not getting weeks. I'm getting weeks. I'm not getting weeks. I'll dig into their marketing and find out that that's not been consistent.
Yes,
and they're feeling the effects of that, because they'll have just the balance of staying consistent with the marketing side and finding out, oh, this week I only did reach out to 5 when I usually reach out to 75. That's why the week, 2 weeks later you felt it, or 4 weeks later you felt it. It's in the past, things you did in the past or didn't do in the past is why the consistency. So that's most of the time what I'll see. It might not be that person's exact.
It's usually the case.
But that's like most of the time what I'll see from.
It's like if you're driving a car and you want to go 40 miles an hour and your strategy is floor it and then let off the gas, and then floor it and let off the gas. And you're like, why is it so rough?
It sounds fun though,
You're like, why is it so rough? And so I will say, Dalton, I think this is you. If it's the wrong Atkins Media, I'm sorry, but if it's you, Dalton, hello.
Wait, is that not Kevin? I know I have a Kevin Atkins, so I'm like,
it's Kevin. Yeah, we have multiple Atkins Media. Anyway, sorry, whoever that is, Kevin, Dalton, one of you two, hello. What a lot of people do, they're really consistent with client acquisition when they're starting their business. They use their resources well, they put in the time, but then when they get busy, they don't do client acquisition. When they're slow, they do, and it creates a situation like where Rod said, where it's kind of hit or miss. Especially with the follow-ups part of client acquisition. That's where you get a lot of second and third shoots. And so the real thing you have to do to scale, if you're at 15K a month, part of what gets you from 15 to 50 is making your client acquisition happen no matter what, whether you're busy or not. And so how do you do that? It's like, you could just be like, oh, I'm going to do it even if I'm tired, but that's really not super resourceful. What would be more resourceful is like hiring a VA or finding someone that can do that for you and just thinking through like, hey, how can I make this consistent? And I'd say that's a good way to
call the agent and say, hey, can you get me more clients?
Yeah.
It all comes back to calling the agent.
Yeah.
And just saying, hey, by the way, I'm trying to expand. So like if you have people and you enjoy my media talk, and want to recommend me, I ain't gonna stop you. They like it. They do referrals. That's their thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be a
lot of
back to just asking for that.
Agreed 100%. It goes back to the communication.
It's easier said than done there, right?
I don't know. It's
or maybe not.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty easy. It's just people get scared. They're like, I don't want to bother them. The most powerful line is, is there anybody else you know that I should be working with? And then you don't even have to get a referral, right? You ask them that, and they say,
ooh, that's good.
Or even if you want to go more powerfully, who's somebody you know that I should be working with? Because then they kind of feel like they need to give you a name. And then they give you the name Jason, and you call Jason and you're like, hey, Jason, Steve gave me your name. I work with him shooting real estate media. He told me that I should be working with you. So I don't know why I'm calling. I just wanted to call and say, you know what I mean? Like, that's the perfect lead in, because you just got, I forget the names now, but you just got one of them to give you a warm reference in. And so asking is really good. I like that you brought that up, Rod. Okay, there's a lot of questions here. Let's do this. Well, I was going to try to say re-ask your question. I'm just going to go to the bottom, but that doesn't solve our problem. It's not very resourceful. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I like it because sometimes people hop off and they might not be here and we answer their question and they might not get
it. We'll just start in the open Q&A now. So, man, it's lightning loud out there. Drop your question in the comments and we'll start from the bottom. How about that? Cannabis Review TV said, Hormozy tip, ask in Instagram if they know anybody instead of the direct ask. Might get a no, but yeah. You're just saying he says to ask if they know somebody, basically, just like DM them?
Oh, yeah, he's a big referral.
Referrals are how you grow, yeah. Lee, just copy and paste your question. We got like a ton that were related to the last topic, so it's like hard to find the actual questions. Just ask it again if you can, Lee. We'll answer it. Okay, Ace said...
I accept the challenge, and we'll find it.
With a virtual assistant and creating systems allow you to take in more shoots and make more money, how do you keep your finger on the pulse to make sure you know what's going on in your business? Yeah, good question. I think, there's multiple ways to do this. One mistake people make is they hire an admin before they hire another photographer. The fastest way to the best way, in my opinion, to keep your pulse, keep a pulse on the business is to stay the admin and just hire photographers as you scale. Because everything goes through the admin. When people are mad about photos, they call the admin. When they want to book, they call the admin. So the admin kind of feels the pulse of the business. I would say that's a big one. Lee, Aaron's got you, which means you're definitely got.
I put it in there.
Oh, I untagged it.
As myself.
Oh, here
it's
it
up
is.
there.
Lee's question from Rob. Okay. What's your top strategy to target a brokerage versus an individual realtor? We do 80 to 100 listings per month. Would like to scale. Okay, so 80, 100. Let me just get some ballpark on how much it is. 250.
First of all, good work on the 80 to 100.
Yeah,
that's chunky.
What's your, if you don't mind me asking, Lee, what is like your team look like? Is it just you, or what is your team? Because I can kind of like scale it based upon what resources you have in your team. What I would say is, so with a brokerage, it's a different language, so to speak. And so we call it speaking broker, but brokers, when you're making a deal with a broker, they care about different things than an individual agent would. So an agent cares about the media and all that stuff. A broker is looking at one primary thing that there's two ways they can impact it. So they're looking at market share. So a real estate, I don't know, you know this, you're in the industry, but just to start from the top, a broker is looking for market share. They make money when their agents sell listings. And so there's two ways they can increase market share. They can recruit more agents, and they can make each agent, or they can help each agent to sell more listings. So that's like the two levers they have to pull. Most of them are hanging on both, trying to get both good. And so when you're working with a broker, you need to understand that's their motivation. And so your conversation with them, I'll talk about how do you get to them in a second. But when you do talk with them, your conversation is around how do you get them to get more listings and their agents, or get more agents and sell more listings. Well, having good media is going to help their agents win more listings. So you want to talk to them about what do you want as the floor of marketing in your business. Is something that Todd, one of our guest coaches, talks about. He does 300+ K a month, a lot of brokerage deals that he's signed. He talks about what is your floor of marketing. It's like, what do you want? You're asking a broker, what do you want every agent in your office to have when they market a listing? Because you can kind of have that conversation with them about, like, obviously the more the better, they're going to track more listings. You want to talk about, you want to say that your goal is to help them get more market share. So we can raise the floor of marketing for each agent, meaning they're not just doing cell phone photos. We're getting professional. We're doing drone stuff. We're doing twilights. We're doing video. And the other thing is you could have a deal with that brokerage as part of the same thing, where that brokerage, the agents in that brokerage get a discount on your services. And so they can be like, one of the perks, hey, if you're with brokerage A, we get a discount with this media guy that does all this cool stuff. So it's like two tools. So that's like the primary ones. Lee, the other, as far as like how you get to the actual brokerage is you need some agents in that office to already be shooting. You need to already be shooting for them. And you're going to ask those agents basically a very specific thing that's like, hey, I want to develop a package that everybody in your brokerage will get discounts on media and some other cool stuff. Would you be able to connect me to the broker or whoever would kind of manage that? So you ask for a warm intro is typically how that works. You could just call and hope to get lucky. That works sometimes. You can also do a broker presentation, which is different than a broker deal. Brokerage presentation is when you get the chance to just give a quick talk to all the agents at a breakfast meeting, and those are pretty easy to schedule as well. Let me know if that didn't answer your question. Do you have any follow-ups, Lee? Congrats on the business. Looks like you're doing pretty good too. Let's see. I just had to pin this because it's funny, Sydney.
You don't love their dogs? Oh, come on. Yes, you do.
Watch your dog every morning is like, I think everybody that shoots real estate,
all their names and what they
can associate with this.
Their dietary regimes.
The good news is, Sydney, you're probably the only one to comment if you comment on their post and say, "Oh, cute dog." So you got to be resourceful.
Join them. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Ace said, how do you build relationships with clients after that initial first shoot, or even if you worked with them in the past? I feel like I'm always on the go and forget to follow up. Yeah, I mean, if you do a good job at your shoot, you don't have to do a ton of that, Ace. You can just check in with a text. I mean, just set 30 minutes aside. Just call some clients you haven't talked to in a while. Hey, I was just thinking about you. I hadn't shot for you in a while. Just wanted to see if everything was good, see if there's anything I can help with. Just call and check in. A lot of times, the easiest way to do this kind of stuff is just to do it. I noticed in myself, going back to I messed everything up the first 3 to 5 years I was in business. It's like, well, what did I do wrong? What did I do? Everything was wrong. But what did I do? And let's just do the opposite. So for me, I was like, what's the system? What do we need to do to check in with these people? And I spent so much time thinking about what I would do. And it's just like, Eli, what if you just called them? What if you just right now picked up the phone? So for you, Ace, I guess the challenge would be what's stopping you from, while you're listening, dialing some agents you haven't talked to in a while and just being like, hey, I was just thinking about you, which is true. If they came to mind, you were just thinking about them. Just want to see if everything was good. Anything I can help with? That doesn't hurt. A text is a little more marketing, salesy in a bad way, maybe, if you do it wrong. So I like a phone call. Just, hey, what's up? Yeah, all good. Let me know if you need anything refreshed. I'm here. If you have any thoughts, if you want to do any crazy media in the future, any video ideas, just want to let you know, you can always call me. That kind of stuff.
How's the home I shot for?
Yeah. There you go.
Media, how people commented on it, what they saying. But no, set a task in Google Calendar. I mean, that connects to Spiro, don't it? Right? I actually don't know. Does it?
Yeah. I mean, well, you can block off time. Absolutely.
Okay. So setting a reminder or setting a task on there. Christy on the team taught me that recently. But setting a task on there and just repeat it and have it remind you, and then just remind yourself and follow up with yourself. I always say, if I can't remember to follow up with myself and remind myself to follow up. So put those in reminders in your phone and say, call John, right? And then when you hit it, call John. And it's a habit of follow up is 100% a habit that's sometimes hard in the beginning, but you get used to it, and then it becomes like breathing. It becomes fun. They'll lose respect for you if you don't follow up with them. If anything, they are follow-uppers at heart.
Yeah, they're more follow-uppy than most real estate photographers for sure, and they're salespeople for a living. The Google Calendar tasks. Rod mentioned it, but I just want to reiterate that is a productivity hack, at least for me. You can set recurring tasks. They're blue in Google Calendar, and you can mark them complete, and it gives you that I crossed it off when you mark them complete. So I have recurring tasks, and there's two things that are cool about recurring tasks. Good way to be resourceful, to be thoughtful with your time, right? So it's definitely on topic. One, you can set them to be repeating, and so they're not in a certain time of day. You just know. And so for me, if there's blue tasks on my calendar, I'm not done working. It doesn't matter if it's 8 p.m. What I learned is that if I work too much, I'm not productive. So for me, it helps me set reasonable things that I want to get that done today, and it's a requirement. It will be done. The blue tasks are always done. Number two, dang, that's going to be loud. It's lightning like crazy. Anyway, the other thing is you can group reminders.
That's kind of perfect timing on whatever you're about to say. You're like, and number two?
Yeah. I'm really afraid to hit the house. I'm on the second.
That was perfect, man. Okay, sorry.
The second thing is for me and for everybody that's growing their business, you're maybe getting towards the point of you need to start being thoughtful about what you delegate. One of the best things to delegate is tasks. So what I do is I look at my calendar when I'm getting too much recurring blue. I'm like, what is going on here? And I start going through the blue. I'm like, which blue tasks can I just put on somebody else's calendar? Can I delegate? Virtual assistant, somebody else in the team? It's just so good. It is resourceful at every level because it helps you be more productive and helps you delegate properly. Yeah, I'm laughing because Aaron Polakaitis on our team is like 2 miles that way, but high up in a building. So have fun. All right. This is a quick side point, but I went out on my jet ski. I don't know if you guys have followed my sagas, but the jet ski is like, I've used it. I think I've put more fuel in that jet ski than my cars this summer. Anyway, I was out there and it was a perfectly sunny day and I still haven't learned about Florida properly. So I was just headed north. I was out in the ocean. It's hard to get out in the ocean. You have to go way around. I turned around, there was like this huge thundercloud. And the only way to get back in to the bay was like to go back into the thundercloud. And anyway, very uncomfortable with that. That being said,
go with Jeans. What do you guys think about property websites? And do they help the agent?
Oh, that's wrong.
I need to get the clicking power. If I get the
clicking, why does Rod not have clicking authority?
Because I probably will I'll probably abuse it and probably just click everyone's on there and just
walk. He's just smiling. Kenny's like, that's why I didn't give it to him.
Clicking the whole time, so it might be strategic on Kenny's part. So he's smart.
I'm being resourceful.
That's it.
Our limited Q&A time. All right, sorry, Gene. What do you guys think about the property websites? They help the agent. Yes, the agents really like them. I'll tell you a quick story that I'm not super proud of, but it was something that taught me how powerful they are. So we got a text from one of our clients one time, and it was a screenshot of an internal chat at one of our big brokerage clients. And they were like, haven't been super happy with Norman & Young lately. For anybody new, that's my photo business. Haven't been super happy with Norman & Young lately. Does anybody have any other companies that still do the websites like they do? So that client, we irritated them a couple times. We called them, we fixed the situation. They're still a client. The story ends well, right? But it just showed me how important that was. The property websites that you get as a part of Spiro, Spiro.media is the website. It's the platform we use to manage our business. They are so helpful. Your clients will love them. It centralizes all the media, gives them one link they can send that has contact info, 3D tours, floor plans, video, photos. Like every media asset is centralized in that website. So absolutely, Gene, they're very good, and Spiro provides them. And it's free. It's part of Spiro's $5 fee per project you do. Let's see. What other questions do you guys want me to hit? Isaac, Aaron, anybody you've talked to that you want me to hit on? Let's see.
I got actually a quick question. I was about to ask Jared. I'm like, I'm on a Q&A. What am I? I was asking right now. And this is a dumb question, but I want to confirm it with them. What do y'all use to host websites?
It's through Spiro.
Through Spiro, order pages and all that, but what like a website? You recommend WordPress or something like that? Or
oh, gotcha. Yeah, if you want to build a website, we recommend Wix, but WordPress, anything like that will work. I just want to disclaim, because we say this over and over. I'm glad you brought this up.
It's not about the website; it's about the funnel.
Yeah, gotcha. I mean, don't build a website is the key. Yeah. I love it when people, in coaching, for example, we never tell people to build websites, and they're like, well, when do I build a website? And I'm like, never. There's people, I mean, does Warren have a website yet, Kenny?
No, we got, I don't know if I can mention it. We got a lot of people that just, they're hitting 30K, 40K months, and they don't have a website. And yeah, that's it. They just have their Instagram and their property website for themselves to show their portfolios, and that's it.
So it goes back to resourcefulness. I don't think you should create a website because I don't think it's a good use of your time or money. Okay, let's see.
Someone said, who is the client and what is their number?
You're not sniping them today. I assume you're in DFW. That's funny. For me, the clients that want property websites are the worst to deal with. Matthew, what system do you use for your property websites? Because ours are created automatically, so we don't have to deal with it. Every one of our clients gets one automatically. Yeah, Archie, 100% true. Instagram's a great. Oh yeah, JD said the same thing. Yeah, it's a funnel. You still need a funnel. So you have your Instagram, which is like your landing page that shows who you are, what you do, pricing info, a bunch of stuff, and then it directs them to your order form on Spiro, which is a website, but it's through a software called Spiro.
Matthew had a good, speaking of Matthew Riley, he had a good question earlier, and I'm glad he commented again. He said it's way up at 436. But do you keep up with every social trend where it's FPV fly through or speed ramps or the new home builds itself like blocks and all the What do y'all what do y'all see with that? Because I was wondering that myself when I see a lot of fancy stuff online.
I had a student in my group coaching call yesterday bring this up, and he was talking about basically like, so I have a video editing agency, and he was like, hey, does your team do like these type of like videos that I see that are super, I want to keep up with the trend. And so my thought was to ask him like, why do you want to do that? Is it something because you want to do it, or is it because you think you need to do it? And he basically was saying like, I think it's the photographer in me. I just want something perfect and, you know, overcomplicate things and all that. And so what I would say is just like, it really depends on your goal. You don't need to do that. Why not double down on what's already working than trying to start something new? And we've had that conversation a lot, many times. REPP 2023, somebody brought that up, and you said that, Eli. It's like, why not just do the same thing that you've been doing that obviously got you to certain revenue? Just double down on that and keep doing that. Now, if you do want to go that route and like follow those trends, you can. Just know that it comes with a price, which is, you know, time. Like, just stay with whatever's more efficient for you and the goal that you want your business to be. Like Norman Young, we want to stay efficient, scalable, and, you know, do things the simple way because it's just easier that way and makes money still. So like, why try to, I don't know, like invent something new where it doesn't make sense to do? So that's my thought on that.
Yeah. So one thing I want to add, I definitely agree with that. Photography is not known for making a lot of people money. Like this industry is not known for being a money printing thing unless you do it right. That's why we talk so much about real estate media done a specific way, because it's like the one way that works really well. And so I think who are the people doing the new crazy stuff? They are artists, they're creatives, that's awesome. Those are not the people who make money. They're testing all the new stuff. That's the photographers doing that, and most photographers are broke. So my thing that I like to do is I'm serving 80% of the clients. I don't want to mess with the 20% of new stuff yet. I serve the 80%. Then I let everybody else do the research. That new photographer who figures out what's working and it starts getting traction, then I add it. But what you don't see is the 6 different things that didn't take off that you would have wasted time on. I'd rather other people do the research for me. Being innovative is very expensive. It costs a lot of resources. I'm not saying you shouldn't be innovative, but I'm saying if you're doing all these new little things, you're probably innovating in a direction that doesn't really matter, and in a direction that if you just let other people test it for 3 months and see what sticks. Yes, FPV's been around for a while. It's gained a little popularity, but it's still not. I mean, if 1 out of 100 agents ask for it, I would rather just not work with that one client and find another client who doesn't ask. But when it starts being 40 agents are asking for it, I'm like, perfect. This is a great way to make money. Let's figure it out. But I only divert the attention and resources when it starts to be a good way to make money. People are like, what about being innovative? You got to discover the new thing. The reality is the disruptor is usually not the one that makes a ton of the money. The copycats have a way more likely chance of making the money. There was this interesting thing. It was from Poor Charlie's Almanac, which is a really good book. It's written by Warren Buffett's right-hand man, Charlie Munger, or not written by him. It's a collection of his talks. And he's basically talking about how people think that just being in the right industry when it's growing will make you a lot of money. And he's talking about the stock market because it's Charlie Munger, right? He's like, you would think when the first automobile came out, if you could go back in time, you'd be like, I'm going to invest in car companies. Like, think about this. You're in a horse-drawn carriage and the first car comes out. You go back to then. What's your first thing? You're like, I'm going to invest in car companies, right? Well, what is really interesting is there have been 2,000 car companies. This is a random number. It was like between 1,000 and 2,000. There have been like 2,000 failed car companies and 7 that returned investors money in that time period. So you can be doing a new thing, but it's still hard. You still had to pick 7 out of 2,000 right. And so for me, I don't want to pick the ones that are going to work or not. It's another thing Warren Buffett said that I like is he passes on deals by saying they're too hard. And I like that because if someone that's very wealthy and very successful thinks things are too hard and is willing to pass, that gives me permission, little Eli permission to pass too. So I'm going to let everybody figure it out. And then if it becomes popular, I'm going to start adding it to my business. Meanwhile, while they're doing their research and not making any money, I'm going to double down on what is working for me. Hope that makes sense.
Something I wanted to add along those lines is that people will be like, well, I'm going to lose clients because I'm not keeping up with the trend. And so they start investing that time on, you know, trying to perfect their art, perfect their work and all that, and finding the right, you know, editor for that, whatever it is. And, you know, we had that comment a little bit ago of like, how can I maintain a relationship? I'm too busy. And so I'm not saying that it was that person, but like people will be like, I'm busy, but they're busy trying to perfect the art while they could, you know, use that time efficiently and be contacting their clients and keep that, you know, grow that relationship.
I have nothing more to add, but I do have a question to answer from Eric. I had an agent say they can't work with me until their contract is up with the other photographer, wondering what goes into a contract like that. Yeah, so Eric, that's actually a really good thing if you have photographers still doing those contracts in your market, because the only photographers who do those are like the old school ones that used to be common like a decade ago, literally, in this industry. And so the reason I say that's good is because that photographer, if they're still doing contracts, probably hasn't innovated on a lot of stuff that actually matters in the last 10 years. So they probably don't have property websites. They probably don't offer the services that are popular now, or at least they're less likely to. So I think that is a really positive thing. That happened to us. We had a lot of clients that were like that. Basically, every contract can be different, but it's like an exclusivity clause that says, hey, you're going to get this rate, but you can only use me. Unless they're busy. Usually the photographer, if they're busy, the agent can hire somebody else.
Oh, Eric's actually asking if he should do that or not.
It sounded twofold. No, it was
twofold. Oh, gotcha.
Oh, yeah. Because this one sounds like he's just wondering what goes in the contract. So, yeah, don't do that. I mean, you probably already caught that, by the way. But, yeah, basically stay on that client, Eric. And when you have the chance to win them, just be like, oh, totally understand. By the way, like whenever we get to work together, I don't do contracts. I want to earn your business every shoot. You just got the business just by saying that. Is that what you were? Did I get it, Aaron? Let me know.
I think so. It seemed like.
Yeah, re-ask again, Eric, and if I miss it again, Aaron will hound me. He will even call my phone eventually if I don't answer it. Cool.
Shago's got a good question. It's a good thought. It's a good rebuttal. I like it. Come on.
I mean, I will say it's just like, why not? I mean, differentiate yourself by having the best customer service out there in whatever state you're in. You know, like have people. I'm not going to name the coaching student, so I'm just going to say a few coaching students have sent me videos to review, and they sucked, but my goodness, their business is like growing so fast, and it's like, it's really good. So, like, just to show you, like, I was thinking their video was going to be great, and then I saw it and I was like, oh, okay. So it's like, the product doesn't really matter. It's just the way you actually like show it to your client, like the way you show up, the way you present yourself, the way you represent them. Your systems, like how easy you make their life is how they're going to stay with you. Like they may like something, but it doesn't mean that you need to do it. They're just going to stick with you because you like it. They like working with you. I mean, I think we've had clients who are like, hey, like, do we do this? And we're like, oh no, we don't do that, unfortunately. Like, okay, cool. That's fine. I just thought I'd ask. That's it.
Well, what you're saying is 100% true. The big issue here is when people innovate in an area their customers don't care about. So it feels like it's separating you, but it's actually not separating you. And so I would say there's two things just to add on to that. Number one, customer service, like Kenny said, for sure. But another way you can differentiate yourself from your competition is to actually spend time on client acquisition. Most people just wait. So there's 1,000 ways to do it. It's kind of like if picture yourself like you're an airline and you're like, I'm going to differentiate us from other airlines by adding more comfortable seats in the cockpit. It's like, that doesn't really help it's not actually different. Like it's nothing anybody sees. So I know that's kind of a funny example, but like that's kind of what people do with general. They're like, this is my like big point, and I think it's what our whole team tries to teach. Like what all photographers focus on, that's not what your clients care about most of the time. What Kenny said your clients care about, customer service, actually just getting clients. Your clients can't care if you don't have clients. And so it's like, our whole thing is like, why do so many photographers not make money? Well, number one, they don't pick a niche. So obviously I talk about real estate media. And then number two, they do real estate media wrong. So it's like, of course it seems easy, watch videos. It's like, oh, it's easy. I'm just going to do real estate media. And then you find out the hard way. If you try it on your own, especially, it's actually harder. And it's like, well, why is it hard? Well, because the things that most people think, sorry, I'm not attacking you, by the way. This is just like a generalized thing. The things that most people think are not actually the things that clients care about. And so it's like you can spend all the time in the world focusing on something that doesn't matter, and it's still not going to matter. And so that's what I think with things like this. And it's why we always try to direct people towards like, hey, what does the client think? Hey, what's the best way to get clients? Like focusing on stuff that actually improves the bottom line. Because the reason I do these is because one, it was a great business for me. I solved the problem that I had as an entrepreneur. When you do that, usually other people have that problem. So now one of my businesses, why I'm here, is helping people grow their business successfully. That's one reason. Number two, because it's really fun when people win. And so the way I get people to win is I say, stop looking over there, look over here. That's where you're actually trying to go. Because my guess is most of the people here, they don't love real estate media, and they wouldn't, like the biggest thing is people say, oh, I just love shooting real estate. That's why I'm doing it. I don't want to scale because I love shooting real estate, or I don't want to blank. I really want to shoot real estate. So I like focusing on the product. I'm like, well, would you do it for free? Would you donate your time to shoot real estate media? No. It's like, well, then you're not doing it. You may like the real estate media, but what you actually like more is the money or the business or the time freedom the money gives you. It's like money's just a tool, right? So what does that get? So I always try to switch people's view back to the actual things that matter. That's the fast way to grow a business.
I love what Chris said. People buy from people. You have to be, yes, you have to have a good product, but sell yourself.
Yes, 100%.
Shout out to Thiago, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes, we weren't attacking you.
That's a good question. We have this running joke because every time we have a call when he's at home, there's like this wooden galleon, like incredible galleon wooden ship behind him. And I always call I nickname him the Galleon now. He's forever the Galleon. So anytime you see Thiago, call him the Galleon. He'll know.
Rob will personally apologize to you for me because I was not roasting you. I was roasting the industry.
Yeah, Thiago, I'll talk to you later, man. I'll explain. I'm just kidding. No. Thiago's great. Yeah.
Also, I was going to say hi to Chris earlier, but hello, Chris. Hope you're doing good, sir. All right, let's see. This is a good one. After the free shoot, how often you follow up? Do you call or text? So after the free shoot, Eric, my recommendation would be, you may be already doing this, but if you're not, free or paid shoot, any first-time clients, the next day, try to get them to do a Zoom call with you for 15 minutes. I pitch it as so I can walk you through all the cool stuff you get working with us, first time only. So we get them on there and we show them how to download their photos, the property website. We show them how to order online using our order system. We of course tell them they don't have to. They can call, but we just want to make it convenient. They can order anytime. Cool thing about when you do that is it's like we call it an onboarding call, but like you just pitch it as all the cool stuff you get. It is like a 4 birds with 1 stone type opportunity. So number one, if you offer a free shoot and someone doesn't like your photos, the chances that they tell you is very low because it was free. They don't want to be rude. So we get on, we're like, hey, by the way, this is the standard, but we have a ton of agents with different preferences. Anytime this shoot or in the future, if you didn't like stuff, it's too dark, too bright, the wrong colors, you didn't like this angle, please let us know. We can fix it this time and make sure it doesn't happen next time. We customize our services to you. So anything you tell me, I'm going to put in your client notes. If you use Spiro, there's client notes, you literally put it in there. So you get to customize it to them. That way, if they don't like it, they're like, oh, they feel glad that you've asked. You sometimes have to pry. You'd be like, anything you didn't like, anything you want better. Like you want to show that you're eager. The second thing is, this is like the second bird. I'm going to try to think of the other birds in a second. The second bird is, if they order online, we found that it's $100 higher average order value if you have your packages set up right than if they call, text, or email. So I know that's in the weeds, but you're growing your business, obviously. So if you get $100 higher average order value and they order online and save you time, that's a huge win. So we found that if you just show them how to order online the first time, they're way more likely to do it because it's just weird doing anything for the first time that you don't know how to do. They don't want to mess it up. So you just show them. It's why any software you use, they like demo the software. They're like, here's how you do this. And you're like, well, that's sweet. So that's the next one. Hold on, there's another one. Oh, the next one is they can order online, which means we always pitch it like this. So if you want to order, you're sitting with a real estate or with a client and you want to get a shoot booked, like you can book it right then. You don't have to wait for me to call or text. If you're up at 2 a.m. getting a little work done, you can book it then. So we share them all these features. So that's just a killer for follow-up. After that, there's no set check-in schedule. We do a VIP program. So clients who are highly referring of us or do a lot of business with us, we do have a check-in schedule and it depends on the VIP. But I would say the biggest thing you could do if you're not doing it, Eric, would be that check-in call. That's like the first thing we recommend people do from day one if you're just starting. It's like a specific video in coaching where you just like do this.
That was like a really good golden nugget right there, actually.
I made myself tired by sharing all that. I don't know what it is, but I'm tired now.
You seem winded.
Yeah. It was the speed at which I talked, not the actual volume.
Nah, man, it was gold though. It was. I agree with Gene.
It's pretty good. Aaron, we have trainings, or I guess there are trainings in Spiro. You just need to sign up. But I mean, Spiro is free. You guys can just go in there, sign up, test it up. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, build out everything and then launch, and then, it costs after you deliver. But if you want to talk about that, Eli.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you join Spiro, like Kenny said, it grants you a beginner setup course that'll get you through the basics. You'll notice that setup course, the videos are me. So I went through and I made the course for Spiro because we get to work with Spiro. awesome founder.
They're
His name's
stuck with
Todd.
Eli some more. Yeah.
What's it?
They're stuck with you even more. You're
Yeah,
everywhere. I hear your voice in my sleep. I'll be at like Publix and I'll hear you behind me, and it's just someone that doesn't have your voice, but I'll hear it. I don't know.
They're scrolling Instagram and they got hit with my video, and so you heard them. But yeah, there's a setup course in there that you can go through for like very basic setup. So the thing with Spiro, and like Aaron made a joke about this, thing, to get coaching. Like obviously that will help, but there's a lot that goes in. It's like I'm trying to think how to explain it. It's like you could set up a website, but if you learn from somebody how to set up the website to make you more money, it's better. So like you can set it up with the things, but we can help you with that. One of the cool things, I'm not just pitching coaching here, but I mean a little bit. We have a call every week that Todd and his team, the founder of Spiro, hosts. It's a Zoom call, so you can just get on them and ask questions. The cool thing about Todd, he's one of our guest coaches. So he does the Spiro call, but he also does another call where he just talks. They built a business to well over $300,000 a month, a real estate media business. And so he's a super, speaking of resourceful, very resourceful guy. And I learned so much when he talks. He's speaking actually this year. Is Todd speaking at the conference this year? Yeah, he is.
He is
right?
speaking. Very wise. He's pointing out about brokerage deals. So
there you go. We should put that link in there. Just a quick side note. We do a conference every year. It's called REPP 2024 this year. It's in Las Vegas. Is my internet cutting out?
no, you're good.
Oh, it's in Las Vegas. If you're serious about real estate media, like whether you're just starting, you already have a business, you're doing $50K a month. This is my event, so I know it sounds like I'm just being self-promotional when I talk about it, but it is the best 2 days of the year you'll spend. And the reason I say that is because it's not just me up there yapping. It's a bunch of people from our community, coaching clients, people in our group that have built awesome businesses. Some are really good solo operators, just maximizing how much they can make, as a solo person. Some have built big teams. Like Todd has a big team, 20 plus photographers. And it really is like we did it the first year in 2022. We've committed doing it every year since then because it's so high impact for people to go. So you get to learn from a lot of awesome speakers. You get to make connections with other people in real estate media who aren't your competitor. Because chances are, if you know somebody in your town that does real estate media, they compete with you. So it's weird when you're trying to talk with them about business ideas. You should still do it, but it's a little different. And then you're just going to leave with a ton of motivation. Like some of my favorite stories have come from the conference. Colleen, one of our speakers this year, awesome lady, built a crazy, I think bigger than Norman and Young now, real estate media business, which is super amazing. And she, first year she came, she was in the audience and she was like fresh. I got to talk to her. It was fun. We knew she was going to be successful too, just by talking to her then. She had done $1,500 total in revenue, her and her husband, Colleen and Tim. And then the next year, we invited her to be a speaker because she crushed 100,000 total revenue the first year. Not 100,000 run rate, but she made more than 100,000 her first year from zero. We invited her to be a speaker. She came and talked again. And in her speech, this is the first time any of us had heard this. She said she made a commitment to herself that first year, that the next year she was going to be invited back as a speaker because of how much she crushed. And so she crushed it and came back as a speaker. She's speaking again this year, has a team, I think 7 or 8 photographers, just a bunch of really good people. So maybe about 200 real estate media business owners in the room. And just, if you can make it out, obviously you got to, get your butt in the plane, fly to Vegas, drive there. Nice thing is flights to Vegas are cheap. Hotel rooms in Vegas are cheap. It's like the best money you can spend on your business. We'd love to see you there. Everybody, on our coaching group is going to be there. Or a lot of them that are able to make it. Like, it's just such a high quality event. Again, I know it's my event, so it sounds weird me saying that, but like I'm saying this as someone who goes there and learns a ton every year because I'm sitting there in the audience next to you guys watching the people talk and share what they've learned. Because I always want to stay up to date. I want to know what's working. The cool thing is you get to pick from everybody. So get you a ticket. There's only 200 tickets or 225 or something, and good amount of them, over half are sold out. So REPP 2024. Put the link in the chat.
Any of my biggest and best connections I've made, or colleagues and friends I've met, and things I've learned, impacts on my business or my life or skill sets, it's always from events. It's always from in-person.
Yeah,
absolutely submerged around your tribe of people that get it and are supportive and help within the business, but just good people and understanding. It's like when you go to a convention, like a Comic-Con or a convention, that 3 days and it ends. It just feels weird when it ends because you're going further away from that, So it's they hit a lot differently. So
you're surrounded with like people who have that same goal as you. It's all about business and growing and just, I don't know. It's super great.
And if you're in real estate media, you need somewhere a safe spot to complain about real estate agents.
That's also very true. And you can actually see how tall everybody is in person. That was fascinating. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely going to be taller than like one of them. No, I'm like the shortest. Y'all make me feel short. Embarrassing. And then Aaron comes in there and he's 6'7". We're all going to feel short. And you got Todd, who's like, what, 7'5"? I'm just kidding.
He's a tall guy, yeah.
Too.
Sydney said, sorry to ask again, but could you send the link to the startup course for Spiro? Sydney, so when you join Spiro, it should be automatically sent to you. If you don't have it, just email Spiro's support or chat, do like the little chat widget and ask them, they'll get it to you. Let's see. Okay. What other questions do you have? I think we're relatively caught up. So if you have
real quick, y'all, like Aaron Polakaitis and Isaac or Lisa, if y'all see them commenting and you're like, who's this random person asking to talk about my business? They are with our team here, and y'all can talk to them and stuff and ask questions about your business, see where it's at, see what can help it, stuff like that. So
yeah, and they're
who's this Aaron Polakaitis guy?
Yeah, he's very active in the chat. Yeah, I definitely. If you haven't talked with our team yet, part of what makes REPP successful, or what makes REPP successful, not part of it, is not me. I'm the one here yapping. It's the team behind us. There's 32 of us as of right now, and the whole team's job is to help people be more successful with real estate media. So if you haven't talked with the team, Aaron, Lee's, we have an amazing team that if you go to this replaunch.com/let's talk, it's not just about coaching. We want to talk to you about your business. We have a bunch of resources we can connect you to, different, whether it's a specific YouTube video that'll be based upon where you're at, or cheat sheets if you're just starting, or a workshop. We have one about scaling, one for new folks. Let them connect you to those resources. Like I said, the success of REPP and our students is because of the team, the quality of people we have. So when you talk with them, you're going to enjoy it. So replaunch.com/let's talk. Just grab a call. It'll tell you who you've connected with. You'll enjoy it. Pick their brain, ask them questions. Like, again, going back to resourcefulness, like, this is a resource you have that's literally free. Like, go talk with them and do that. So you can book a call there.
I like Gene. Gene's, can you talk about different kinds of vids? One.
Real quick, Aaron, if you'd like to, go for it, sir. There's nothing stopping
you, Aaron. Yeah. And I think there'll be more than 20 calls, Aaron.
Yeah, you go for it. No one spam Aaron.
Let's make Aaron regret this.
Yeah.
Let's make him regret it.
Sorry, what were you saying, Rod? You were about to say one, I think.
No, there was a Faulty Clean asked best way platform to use for agent to schedule directly on your website. That's definitely Spiro.media. Right below that, Gene's right below that one. It said, can you talk about the different kinds of reel, cinematic, and how or where or when? You see, it's like 7 or 8 up.
I see it.
Yeah. So at Norman & Young, our 2 core products are a social media walkthrough reel and a cinematic video. So for us, a reel, I triggered the thumbs up. For anything, for us, anything vertical is a reel, and horizontal is cinematic. Reels, vertical videos are shot on iPhone. Kenny, did that go off by accident, or did you just do that? Anyway.
I'm doing this fun stuff. Wait, hold on. Right,
it happens to me by accident. Look at this. I sometimes do it, like, I got it to do like the, anyway. So yeah, I don't know if that answers it, Gene, but yeah, reels are always vertical and they're shot on phone, and cinematic videos are landscape orientation and they're shot on our cameras. So social media, especially Instagram, TikTok, is where reels are going to be used, or like in stories on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok for that matter. The core videos, like the cinematic videos, those go like on Facebook and property websites is typically where they're used. We offer 1 and 2 minutes because we want to give agents options. We always, if they ask, recommend 1 minute. Sometimes though, they want to do a really long video, and that's between them and whoever. That's their problem. We warn them, and we actually try to downsell them the 1 minute, but agents have different preferences. So that's why we do that. Ooh, this is a good question. I think there was probably a first one. Oh yeah, here it is. Are videos necessary nowadays, or can businesses succeed with photos only? Yeah, well, Aaron just said, I have nothing more to add to what Aaron just said. Chris, I'm going to just read it for everybody. A business can succeed, but your average order value long-term will be lower, and some agents prefer to work with one photographer for all the services. Makes you a one-stop shop. Definitely agree with what Aaron also said here. Starting out, if you only can do photos, be resourceful. Just offer what you can. Let your agents pay you for some photos. Use that money to buy the video equipment, drone, Twilight, or that's the same camera, but 3D stuff. See what I mean by Aaron knows what he's talking about? So you guys would all benefit from anybody on the team you get to talk to. Aaron's just putting in the work here, answering questions.
I like Gene's too as well. Gene's on one today. Yeah, I like that. Like, is that an angle that can be taken to provide media for that?
Somebody should make on Facebook real estate videos, but they don't know how they're doing this. Yeah, so it's rare, Gene. Most agents are very not, and I mean this with all respect. I love agents. They're my clients. They are not very savvy with marketing. And the vast majority of them have not figured out how to have like a funnel or any kind of ads. So the agents that know how to run ads are already ordering videos, and trying to teach an agent that doesn't know how to run ads is not the business model I want to have. Ads are they can be extraordinarily complex to do them in a they call it ROAS, return on ad spend, in an ROI positive way. So we don't get into that. There's a thing I heard that I really like, which is like there are two skills when it comes to having a business. One is picking the right business, and two is the actual business. And so for me, this falls and violates number one, which is picking the right business. Respectfully, the last thing I want to do is teach a bunch of people who are horrible with tech and advertising and marketing to do that. It's just not and also who don't want to pay for it. Generally, it can be done. You could build a $100,000 a month business doing that. I just am not going to be the one to do that too hard. Let's see.
Can you do a walkthrough video with your phone, or should that be done on the camera?
Phone, 100%, much easier. And honestly, iPhone footage is so good. If we could, I think we would do horizontals ones with our iPhones too, but we don't because aesthetics.
Yeah, iPhone is so good. Oh, what's up, Kevin? Kevin made some crazy videos on the iPhone.
Yeah,
Kevin,
I like stalking his Instagram and watching his videos on there. They're awesome. I don't know. They're like part of my hype in the morning, to be fair.
Kevin says it. Listen, yeah, that's the good advice. Generally, you won't go wrong too much with that.
Aaron asked if Lisa fell asleep. She's in France, so probably.
Oh, is Lisa in France right now?
She's there till April.
Sure.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Brianna, welcome in.
Adventurous lives. It's really fun.
Go back and watch the start, Brianna. I always feel weird saying it was good because I was the one saying it, but I think it was good. So go back. All right, we're talking about resourcefulness. It would have been good for 12 years ago, Eli. Go for it, bro.
Shout out to Bree, actually. She was one, when we talk about resourcefulness, she was one that we had like 7 or 8 calls after we first spoke about coaching. And she was like, just like scavenging planet Earth, getting as absolute resourceful as possible. When 9 times out of 10 from my experience in the last 8 years selling coaching is that it's, they'll give up real quick if they can't get it. Oh, I can't get it, and it's done. And Bree was like, no, I'm going to keep doing. What can I do? How can I get it? Not I can't, but she kept saying, how can I? And just was very, very resourceful and made it happen. And I don't know, it was extremely inspiring. She's been one of the couple that everyone I speak to is very inspiring, but she stuck out to me as far as she didn't stop when most people would have by that point. And I don't know, speaking of resourcefulness, Bree's got it. So shout out to Bree for that. I just wanted to give her a shout out for that.
Yeah, it serves everybody so well. Oh, you got the drone too. Congrats. Yeah.
I love it.
Oh,
awesome,
Bree. That's cool.
Oh yeah, Aaron did speak to Bree first.
Yeah.
And then she spoke to me, and then she got monstrously resourceful, and it was I'll never forget that. It was really cool.
That's awesome. Let's see. Mike said, hey, hi Rod, I've been having some success in my business. I did 1 client, 3 photo shoots a week within the last 2 weeks. That's awesome. It's funny because like sometimes the initial wins, they don't feel like as big of wins. So people are like hesitant. They're not like, I'm having a ton of success. But it's so funny because those wins, 1 client, 3 photo shoots, you just get a few of those and all of a sudden you're like, my business is blowing up. So they're just as instrumental as like the first 10K month, because that client, that 1 client that got you some shoots, that's the same client that takes you from 9,500 to 10.2 and gets you to 10K month, the first 10K month. So congrats.
We didn't start this call with a win.
We didn't start with a win. There's a lot of, let's do that. Let's end it with some wins. Who had some wins this week in your business? Share something good that happened, big or small. Here's the thing with wins. I consider myself a fairly practical guy. I think Kenny and Rod the same. Wins are the most practical thing to talk about because they give you energy that make you get more wins. So there's like this thing where if you stack small wins, I think Grant Cardone talks about that. But either way, it's so powerful in your business. So we start our internal team meetings. Like no clients are on these meetings. It'll be with the coaches, it'll be with anybody on our team, our all hands meeting. We actually have a meeting on Friday. This is how important it is. We get the whole team, the whole rep team, a lot of us on the meeting on Friday. And all we do for 30 minutes is share good things that happened that week. And if you think about it, why do we do that? Like, again, I like to think of myself as a fairly practical guy. That's a lot of money that it costs to get everybody on a meeting and just sit there and talk about wins. Like that costs money. Why do we do that? Because it's the best thing you can do. And so I'm a big believer in wins. I think we have a wins channel for coaching. It's, everybody's favorite channel. You got to share stuff. That passes on the energy. So share your wins. I hope that's enough. We have 93 people in here, and you can squeeze a win out even if you don't feel like you had one. It's a good skill. Go for it, Ron.
I was about to say, you can always tell when I want to talk because I start.
That's good. It makes it easy.
I start creeping and getting closer and closer to the screen. No, but Michael's win, I had to look it up. I looked up on my notes on my thing, and when I first spoke to him like a couple months ago, he hadn't started. He's been looking at it for a while and hadn't started. So it's really comforting to see that he jumped in and with the content been jumping in and got some stuff happening. Already got shoots booked, clients, and congrats on that, Michael. It's really cool to see that from since our first call that we had. So good stuff, man.
We got to. Oh, actually, Darlene. We got to start with this.
Darlene
and new clients. That's great, Darlene. That's awesome.
And her car can only go a certain distance because of like it's. Darlene, please explain it. It's like because of its electricness and electric plugs near. She speaks electric vehicle. I don't know because I don't know how that works. I don't have one. I should get one, I guess. But I thought that was impressive because it couldn't go a certain distance, but she was able to know how so it can go, and she can service more now.
Darlene, you may have heard me say this, but 10 to 15 new clients a month is actually the fastest that I would recommend growing until you're doing like 25K a month and have a team. So that's awesome to hit 10. If you could just keep 10, that's super good. Kevin said National Media Co made 6K yesterday, and I personally did not shoot a house. Let that sink in, everybody. 6K in revenue yesterday, and he didn't shoot a house. He has a team. Kevin's absolutely crushing it. Obviously, not every day is 6K. Kevin's the first to tell you that. But the
Kevin, maybe with Kevin though, right?
Yeah. Well, the thing that makes Kevin special is he goes. Whether it's a good day or a bad day, he gets it done, and now he has days that are good. I was talking with Kevin earlier. I actually had a phone call with him, and he was like, "You got to, long story short, I'm paraphrasing. So you got to share like what it was like on the come up in your businesses. Like we're talking about Kenny's story. Kenny and I have worked together for a long time, but years ago we were first building REPP video editing, and Kenny made it happen. Like at one point he moved to Florida because we were both from Florida at that time, so he was going to move here so we could work together in person. And he was the video editor at that time because he was doing what he had to do to start the business, right? And so he was living in an extended stay and editing videos at night so clients would have them in the morning. And now, years later, he has an awesome team, great team of editors, support staff, and an awesome business. And he makes way too much money. I'm just going to put it out that way. He's built an incredible business. And so shout out to Kevin for bringing that up earlier. And I guess I could have let Kenny tell the story, but I wanted to tell it from my end because I saw what it looked like. And Kevin, same thing. Like the people you see that are successful, they sacrifice and they put in the work. The cool thing is the sacrifice sounds worse than it actually is. It's a grind, but it's talk about it. I mean, like, do you look back on those days? You're like, I would never do that again. But I'm glad I did.
Yeah, I would never do it. I would pay now that I can. and I do pay. I have a team. But it's just so funny. I mean, like, and I share it with the coaches. I share it with people I'm close to. And like, dude, I would text you so many times, and my wife can attest to this, but like just crying. It's like, it's 3 a.m. and I'm exhausted. And then like, I have to wake up at 6 a.m. to deliver these videos. And I go to bed real quick, wake up and be like, I have to finish these videos and I have revisions to do as well. And like, how am I going to like, I mean, it's fun. I think it's funny now.
You ever notice how he's smiling now? Your best memories are when you sacrificed.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know how I did it. Look, dude, every single day was just like, all right, we got to get back home because at 7 p.m. that's when I started getting the videos. So now I have to edit from 7 to 3 a.m. And, you know, it was like, I knew one day was going to change, but it was like, I know this is like the price that I have to pay right now in order for me not to do this ever again. But
you got to get around people. The key, you have to get around people that tell you to keep going. Like Kenny would text me that, and I would send him a bunch of profanities back, like truthfully. and just be like, get it done, dude. Like, I don't feel bad for you. I did that.
Honestly, yeah, and that's something like you need people that have been through it. And I think that's great that like people are here because we can, we can talk about our own experiences. But like, there have been times, and even recently, like I'm not in that struggle anymore, but like there's still stuff I'm like, I want to continue growing the business. And so there'll be times that I've been going through something, and I tell you, be like, oh yeah, I went through that at Norman Young. It's part of business. I'm like, and that alone, that just made me feel like a lot better. It's like, oh, it's part of business. It's a normal LA traffic, how we put it. It's normal traffic in LA, and like it's just life.
Yeah.
It was yesterday I had a doctor consultation or something, and we were talking about like, oh, your stress levels seem manageable, and I was like, really? Oh, interesting. And they're like, she's like, do you manage stress well? And I remember I was like, how I am, like I stress too quickly. I used to, I guess, and I was like, I guess it seems like I've adapted to the stress. It's just part of life now. It's just like it comes with business, but it doesn't mean it's bad or good. It just is. But yeah, I mean, like it. Yeah, it's a funny story. I mean, summarizing too. You asked me something and I went off topic, but yeah.
No, it's perfect. I wanted to balance the wins with the people that get the wins had to do something. Chris, I know for a fact, because we get to work with him, that he had to do something to earn this.
He is resourceful. We actually talked about him today in our coaches meeting. 4 months into coaching, I think it was 4 months in, he has moved to a new market, and
yes.
I'm not gonna say his revenue, but like it's pretty big up there. Yes, to a new market. In a new market after moving after 4 months.
I think one of the crazier coaching wins while we're on that, if I could just keep,
please.
It was well, we didn't ask if we can say their name. It starts with an R. It's not me or anything, but it's I was like, I don't know why anyone would think that anyway.
His name's Rob.
But it was someone that got into coaching, needed to back out of coaching.
Yes.
Because IRS and they owed money and taxes and stress of money. And it was almost like I'm going to quit kind of a situation. And it's like, it's like that picture of people digging for the guy digging for diamonds and gives up like 2 inches away and drags the axe away. And it was like, okay, I was like, okay, talk to your coach. Just talk to him about it. No problem. Just talk to your coach. Sounds like Karen did something and instilled Karenized him. And he went from needing to stop to that being the reason to keep going versus the reason to stop. Sometimes people hit challenges where they're like, this is why I should stop whatever thing. And instead, no, it's the life giving you more proof that it's time to do something about it. And he continued in he have a $16,000 a month.
Yeah. And just because we're not saying names, we can say it. But the tax bill that scared him, from my understanding, was about $4,000, which is, I understand. So he almost let a $4,000 thing, and he didn't. He committed. Now he did a $16K month. That's crazy. That's like
what that cost have been if he stopped is my thought. And that's when I'm like, when people think why I'm like shouting from the rooftops how I love this program. It's hard when you start seeing a lot of that to not just be like shouting it to the rooftops. So I thought that was such a resourceful moment to say, you know what, this is not the reason to stop. This is the reason to keep going. And he decided that, and he chose that. And $16,000 a month.
It's like, and everybody who has these wins, especially the wins that are getting bigger, all of these people have had a moment where it would have been easier to be like, nah. It's always easier to stay where you are. That's the thing. It's just not rewarding. All right, let's tag a couple more wins. See if there's any more.
Yeah, should we close the wins?
Brad on the team with another good one.
Oh, that's a super good one. Yes. I chose this. Like at the end of the day, like it is your fault. Like whenever I was going through some hard stuff, like Eli would remind me that it's like, you chose it. And I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. Like I chose it. And I think it just changes your mindset to just like, yeah, this is my own. Like everything that happens to me is my own fault, whether it's good or bad. It's just like, it's my fault.
The joke thing I had is like, I mean, dude, you can go back on salary anytime you want. You're like, oh, no.
Yeah, about that so many times.
Okay, let's see. This is a win that Kevin is an inspiration. I would consider that a win, right?
I like Matthew Thompson's. My first free shoot was 3 weeks ago.
Find these wins. Where are they?
Three above.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. My first official free shoot was 3 weeks ago in the two-family house, second, whatever that is, already contract. I was informed the photos were the most viewed photos in Bayside, New York. Matthew, congrats.
I like
That's
the logo,
awesome.
by the way.
Talk to that client. Ask them if they know anybody else you should be working with. Use that connection. Get the wheel going.
Tell them today, right now. You have 5 minutes.
Yeah, you do. Why does he have 5 minutes? Did you just set an arbitrary timeline? It
don't
convinced me that he only had 5 minutes. I almost got out my phone.
He needs to do it though. Kerrigan, I moved from Idaho to Orange County. My team is still in Idaho, and it's been scary for no reason. I like that. But considering starting over here in OC, there we go. Expansion. That's exciting.
It is scary when you do that, isn't it? It's interesting.
Everything's scary. That's why it's awesome.
Everything's scary. That's what it is. That's what it is. Until you realize what would have happened if you didn't do that. Like, so I first remember when I first started teaching people, I just had Norman and Young. I'd grown a successful business. I had a team. I was doing pretty well for what I thought was for me. Like, you know, I'm a car guy. I like my cars. I had my fancy car before I ever started teaching. A lot of people were like, "Oh, Eli has it because he started another business teaching." Like, I had
Your coaching business bought that, right?
Yeah. No, I had
on calls too. I'm like,
oh yeah, people say that. I mean, of course, my business now is great, but I bought my first McLaren was before I ever coached. It was just real estate media. I didn't sell a single anything. But anyway, the point I was making is I was really scared. I knew it was going to be a great business. I knew there's a lot of people that would benefit from it. I knew my business was only in DFW. And I was really scared to take everything I'd learned, all my secrets, and be like, anybody want these? You know what I mean? Like, that's a big move. And it's like, that was scary, right? For me, that was like not a recent, it's been 5 years now, but that was a big thing. And now I'm like, man, how scary would that have been if I didn't do that? How scary would it have been if I wanted to go to medical school. That was my plan for a while. That wouldn't have been a good fit for me. Like, how scary if I wasn't willing to be like, you know what? I'm going to not go to medical school. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be a photographer. That doesn't sell well. It sells well when you know how it ends. It doesn't sell well at the start. And so you have to be willing to do that. I mean, I have great parents. They were like super supportive. They were like glad, if anything, because they knew me probably. So they knew it was better to have a business and got to spend a little more time with them. Anyway, there's all these pivot points that are super scary. And the crazy thing is, like, thinking back and being like, what if I didn't do that?
Oh, that's the worst. And honestly, I regret the things that I haven't done whenever I reach a certain point. I'm like, oh, I could have done that. Like, dang, that sucks.
Yeah.
And so now I kind of remind myself now, just do it. Like, take that leap of faith and you never know where it could go.
Yeah. Speaking of leap of faith, it's not really a leap of faith. I was going to say just do it. You should talk to my team if you haven't yet. I hope what you've learned from us gives you a little like tip of the iceberg for what you could do working with our team. Whether it's just a call or you jump into coaching, we'd love to work with you. Obviously, that's what we get to do for a living. But chat with the people on my team. replunch.com/let's talk. You'll be able to book an appointment. We're not a high pressure team. Like, that's something you'll learn about us. I don't think that's how you build a business. You provide value is how you build a business. So we with resources we can connect you to, whether it's, like I said earlier, I mean, we have specific YouTube videos our team knows this is good for this person. We have people we can connect you with. We have like workshops I put together. We have so much stuff that I would just encourage you to take a second, chat with my team. That's what they're there for. They love to chat with you, give you a roadmap, answer your questions. You saw Aaron and Lisa were in here. Aaron was here for the later part, especially, and like, he knows what he's talking about. We got good people on the team. Let them help you. Be resourceful and use this. It's a free resource. You get to talk with my team. Thanks for being here tonight, Rod, Kenny. Appreciate you both. And everybody, have a great evening. Go be resourceful. Do the boring work. Put in the time to grow your business. Take action. Courage is not scared. It's doing something despite your fear. So take action. Take whatever the next step is for you. And appreciate you all. We'll see you very soon.